the show again.
Excellent. Excited to be here with you, Robert and Jason.
Well, I always love sharing my perspective and wisdom in a way that will help other people take whatever they're doing to the next level.
This is the
Jason,
way.
yeah,
So,
go ahead.
you mind if I give you an introduction? Like you said, we start on
Sure.
time. So the people in the room on time should not be punished because they know how the clock and the calendar works. So without further ado, I see more people trickling in anyways. Robert Butwin, a friend, a mentor, a trusted advisor, somebody who's escaped the rat race decades ago and has amazingly partnered with us to help more people do the same thing. So we share a similar mission. We believe in every single person on this call. We believe that the future is yours, should you choose to accept it. You just have to accept it and do what you need to do. So Robert's an amazing source of knowledge, a good friend. His network, 30 years of doing this, is astounding. So if you've never met a trusted advisor, you're going to meet one today. Robert Butwin, you can't help but win when you're hanging out with Robert. Let's go, brother.
Super. I always love to grab the opportunity to share my insight wisdom in a way that hopefully will help other people accomplish the kind of success I've created. Many of you probably either read the book, watched the DVD that was a phenomenon in 2006. In fact, it was so popular, Oprah Winfrey brought it onto her program. Now, what it really did is it brought to the consciousness that we can create or attract whatever we want to create in our life. It was about the law of attraction. Here's what it didn't do. It didn't give you different actions of what you really needed to do. Now, I was living under the concept of the law of attraction back from 1984 when I first started my entrepreneurial journey. And I'm not going to tell you I was an overnight success because I wasn't. But here's what I can tell you. I am where most people would love to be at this stage of my life. But unfortunately, most people are not going to get there. Now, when somebody made a statement similar to that, what I just made, because I heard my self-talk, and my self-talk was, that's not me. Failure was not an option. I didn't exactly know what or how I was going to accomplish that. But here's what I knew is I was going to succeed. And so what I want to share with you for those, and by the way, if and when we've got questions, and hopefully I'll have time at the end, or otherwise I'll make sure I allow time at the end, or we can go into the breakout to be able to answer any and every question. I'm going to share with you the 13 keys to business success that I've learned. Um, so let's see. I'm going to talk about the essential principles that will drive entrepreneurial excellence. First one, keep it simple. You know, Everything in my mind comes down to a simple equation. And I'm going to share that with you. And that is less and more followed with the right actions. Be more conscious and aware of the negative things that you're putting in your mind, your body, and the people you hang around with, followed with the right actions, and be more aware of the right things you put in your mind, your body, and the people you hang around with. So ultimately, when I realized that I wanted to create the kind of success, I started to have to reprogram my mind. And that's why one of the reasons that I always talk about Maury Zukovich, who I met through networking, because he's got technology. Because there's two parts of reprogramming your mind. There's the unconscious and the conscious. His deals more with the unconscious. The conscious, I started to listen to a lot of books, tapes, and everything else like that. So, but again, keep it simple. Eliminate complexity from your life. Think about the things you're supposed to remove. When people meet me, I tell them I do one thing and one thing only, and that's talk. I talk at networking events. I talk on one-on-ones when people have conversations with me, or I talk on one-to-many when people show up. In fact, one of the things I just started admitting recently, I don't even uh, handle my own checkbook. I've never balanced a checkbook. So, when I started off in as an entrepreneur, I dove in hook, line, and sinker, and I, ended up creating more debt than I want to admit to. Now, everything that happens to you for a reason, but the reason I'm telling you this is at the same time I started dating a lady who wanted to know where I was financially. So she took over my checkbook and she's handled it ever since. So, you want to stay in your highest income producing activities. Second of all, focus on solutions. Every time I have a one-on-one with somebody, the key is I go into that one-on-one with understanding three C's. I love C's. Probably the reason I like C's so much, well, that was the grade that I got the most of when I went through my formal educational process. So the three C's are, first of all, understanding most people are confused. You take a look at what's happening in the world today and how the media spins different things. There's no um, misunderstanding of why there's so much confusion in the marketplace. Then the next thing is I realize that most people are challenged. The third C is certainty, knowing that I can help them one way or the other, but I've got to focus on understanding what's happening in their world. And the next key, another C, is clarity in your communication. You want to make sure that as you're understanding the people that you're involved with, what they're dealing with, and giving them clear solutions. So either you're going to keep it simple or starve. So part of it is understanding your vision. Jason mentioned I haven't worked a job since September 7th, 1990. I'm psychologically unemployable. My original vision was to make enough money that I could leave the 9 to 5 job because I realized how much energy working for somebody else's dream, knowing that they have expectations of when you need to start at work, how long you can work, when you can take a vacation. So my vision originally was to make enough money so I could leave the job. Second of all, you want to focus on streamlining your offerings. When I talk to people, I give them a map, and that's your momentum action plan. The map is not the same for anybody and everybody because I've still got to understand where they're at and analyze your SWOT. When I started off, I understood my strengths. And when I was looking to find my life partner, I wanted to find somebody that has strengths where I was weakness in. Even when I'm networking today, when I started off as an entrepreneur, all I saw was opportunity. I didn't see any threats. Now, as I've evolved, I understand the threats. But when I take a look at it, when I started, we talked about mind and body. I realized that most people were trapped in a job. That was an opportunity. I realized what was going on. I originally saw um, a 60-minute commercial. And the guy gets on and he says, I work for a food company. My job is to make the foods addictive. I realized, knowing that my dad had a heart attack at a young age, his dad died of a heart attack at a young age. I realized the challenge with health was the fact that people got in the habit of eating too much. So that was the opportunity for me. And then you want direct communication, keeping it simple. The second one, think strategically. The second key, focus on analyzing the marketplace. I told you where I saw the weaknesses of the marketplace and how I responded. I got involved in a direct marketing company and network marketing. Most people unfortunately don't understand that business model. The reason I love the business model is the only way I succeed is by helping other people. But again, it's a misunderstood marketplace, but that's the opportunity. The other part is embracing networking. A statement that I've, will continually say your net worth is in relationship to the strength of your network, which I'll explain as we continue going on in the short time I'm going to be with you now. Allocate your resources. You want to invest in the people that are doing something, not the people that need it. Again, they're your time vampires. People have got to be as serious and committed about taking what they're doing to the next level and execute decisively. Seek wise mentors, the next key principles. When I started off, one of the key people I met was a guy named Don Fela. Don told me, let the tools do the work for you because people are judging you based on how you show up, if they can do this or not. And if you allow the right tools to do the work for you, rather than them figuring out, I can never be like this person. Second one is Robert Nadiak. He had wrote a book, Your Destiny, Your Life and Your Work Become One. I started mentioning that when I first got involved in networking, I created more debt than I wanted to, admit to. But he used to tell me the attitude of gratitude. Be grateful for where you're at as you're going to where you deserve to be. So I started to shift how I looked at things. And then Doris Wood, because where I've made my millions is in MLM. And she said, MLM is really making life meaningful. Another acronym. Subject experts. Harvey Mackay, who is a 70-year friend of our family, he wrote 8 books. 7 of them were on the New York Times bestseller. The key book in networking is Dig Your Well Before You're Thirsty. Jim Britt, Tony Robbins used to work under him. He was Jim Rohn's partner. Him and I spoke on a stage in Asia together. James Feldman, he has been so valuable in everything that I do, and we become business partners. He's helped some very large companies increase sales $3 billion. And then Tom Gay started 7 companies, but seek wise mentors. These are just a handful of the people I look at mentors. I could put Jason McNamara on it, that site, and other people. Peer advisories, and after today, I guarantee you the No More 9 to 5 will be there. You've got the JV directory, Mark Beelan, Rook, different people that you can connect with. And I could go on and on. Next key principle, systemize your processes. And if you haven't figured it out yet, I love acronyms. And I've got an acronym for system, which is shape your strategies to execute and multiply. You want to have, it's a lot easier for other people to open doors for you. I can open them all myself, but it's a lot easier as you've got things that are going viral. So focus on automation. Jim introduced me originally to Grammarly. Now, my wife is amazing at writing and a proofreader. But, when I found Grammarly, and obviously she would always be there to help, but I was able to take that off and, that does everything for me. A calendar. Another thing that I, never really, until we got on online, started working with, Connect IQ, ChatBridge, are a couple other things that Thomas created for automation. And then document. And this is an area where I was in a state of air. I felt that anybody and everybody that I had a conversation with, I gave them so much that they would all want to get back to me. But once I started using Engage Pro, and I could, in a very automated format, start keeping track of the people I wanted to keep track of. And then standardize, again, establish a system, which I've done, and I continually refine what I'm doing. Next key principle is clear intentions. When I started my journey, as it was before I got married to the lady that I married, we were walking across from where she lived. And I turned to her and I said, there's nothing or nobody that's going to stop me from succeeding. So you need to be clear, 100% clarity on what you expect to accomplish. What is your intention? You know, set goals. My first goal happened to be to make enough money to get away from my job. Then focus on, quarterly. I put monthly objectives. Now, not that I need to continually work, but my monthly objectives today is to do 45 hours of networking events a month, and I want to have 80 one-on-ones. But set your objectives, weekly priorities. What do you expect to accomplish each and every week? And daily purpose. I still handwrite a task list. Master implementation, next process or key principles. Plan thoroughly, map your resources, if, timelines. Start small. I take a look at every action that I do as a test. If it works, I'm going to figure out how to take it to the next level. If it doesn't, I'm going to refine it. Change quickly and scale successfully. Once you find something that really works, you want to scale fast. Measure your key, next principle, measure your key metrics, whatever they are. Find your 3 to 5 key metrics. I started telling you already my metrics, review frequently to make sure you're on track, and always focus on what you can do to improve the things that you're doing. Next key principle, build strategic partnerships. Again, your thought leaders, James Feldman, Diane Armitage, I met through networking. She worked under Bob Proctor for 27 years, wrote most of his information. Tom Gay, you've heard me mention. Tony Polici, he's Joe Polish's older brother. Excuse me. He's he is Joe Polish's older brother. He was Dean Graciosa's business and marketing strategist before Tony Robbins hired him. Um, so he's a 30-some-year friend of mine. So, but you want to develop, build strategic partnerships. Focus on the rainmakers. Ultimately, um, I like to get to know the people running it, the events, the different events. And again, I'm going to make some modifications after that. Next key thing is your collaborative relationships. You heard me mention the only thing I do is talk. So I've got people that I've developed relationships and will continue to develop relationships that do all the other busy work for me. Those are just a few of them. And then educational platforms that you plug into. And again, after today, I'm going to put the great discovery in a few of them. It was my oversight as I'm going through that. Next key principle, master prioritization. What's urgent and important? What's important, not urgent? You want to take a look at based on the things you've got in front of you. Urgent and not important, and neither urgent nor important, and you eliminate those things. Next key principle, develop leadership. This is probably one of the most important, one of my most important things as far as vision casting. When ultimately, and I mentioned that I plugged into a lot of cassette and read books, and one of the people I heard on one of the cassettes, he said, think about what it would feel like. And I want you to picture being able to walk into your boss's office, sit at the chair across from his desk, lean back in that chair, put your feet up on the desk, take out a cigar and light it, and tell him you can no longer afford to work there. I've told you that date was, that was one of my guiding principles. That date for me was September 7th, 1990. But quite often when you're working with people, you've got to be able to cast that proper vision of where they could end up as you're getting to know that person. Second of all, team building. I continually refer to that. I love the acronym TEAM. Together, everybody achieves mastery. but you want to focus a quality team around you. Uh, Join a mastermind. We're creating a mastermind which will start in March, which will be meeting once a month. And understand 3D thinking that I learned from James. It's like every time I have a conversation with somebody, I want to discover, what's going on in their world, what they do, what they're doing to, to expand what they do. The second D is the distance from where they are to where they want to be. And the third D is determination. I found that there's a lot of wantrepreneurs in the marketplace. There's simple ways to test somebody. I can guide somebody to a piece of information that they can get for free uh, going to YouTube. So, I mean, I have said and will continually say, I believe it's easier to become successful today than any other time in history. I take a look at when I started my journey, the amount of money I spent on personal developments. Today, if you know where to look for that, I mean, look at the No More 9 to 5, how many major mastermind groups they have that you can plug into for nothing. Then you've got AI and you've got other technology. So, you want to make sure, are they really determined? Next key where I made where I've made millions and became a millionaire and where I'm at today is understanding leveraging resources. Resources come in different forms, your time,
What's your mom
technology.
saying?
I'm sorry, which?
I'm trying to find the message. She said it was Yager.
I'm
Tim,
sorry,
can
with
you
somebody
mute
speaking?
yourself, please?
Okay. Anyhow, time, technology, talent, systems, capital are your resources, next key principles. Next one is elevate your purpose. Purpose driven. When I started off, my main purpose was to make enough money so I didn't have to worry about working anymore. Now my purpose has shifted to the point of living a life of meaning based on being of value to other people. I've come to the realization that we all have two B days, a birthday and a box day, and in between there's a dash. And it's what what impact did you have with your time on this planet? Next, create a community focused of high values. That's what really the No More 9 to 5 is about. Next one, sustainable minded. Short term, you got to balance short term and long term. And you want to innovate, want innovation centered around AI. How do I use AI and technology? And as I'm wrapping up everything else, the key in everything that I've learned, because one of the key books, and it's how we influence people. And I understand the motto, givers gain. I know the more that you GIVE, the more you'll GET. So the first key is embracing the principles of givers gain and know that, it doesn't matter. Don't necessarily expect to get rewarded from who you give. The right people will show up accordingly. People are very transparent. So, but I know that I focus on giving values, understanding the 3D understanding and focus on what I can do to help them. Second thing, and givers gain, undercover their SWOT and develop genuine relationships through sharing. Quite often there's different things I can share people, PDFs that I've got that I've created. But, again, I'm giving with the fact that the right people show up. Ultimately, share resources generously. And the last one, and the most important one, in my mind, understand your boundaries. You've got a lot of takers in the marketplace. You want to make sure there's a reciprocal relationship. So, anyhow, that's as much. I think I've got about 5 minutes before we go into the networking group. Is that correct, Jason? I know I've given a lot in a very short period of time. Hopefully, somebody's got some questions. Otherwise, I mean, I can continually talk. I mean, that's not a problem. Anybody have questions? Telmar, yes.
Great presentation and all of the goodness. And I really appreciate you bringing some of the pieces even more to mind. So, around the idea of building strategic partnerships, right?
Sure.
I liked your breakdown and I was looking at it. And how do, what processes, conversational styles do you use when you get introductions and have people wanting to be on your calendar when it's not a good fit? They're really trying to your point, you got to be conscious of your boundaries so that they're not just they're like I'm more of a taker than a, giver mutually back and forth. How do you set those relationships up as not taking your time, but still when you're ready for, what we've got, we're here.
Sure. The first part of what you said, I never judge on the first date. I look at the one-on-ones. In fact, I don't even call it a discovery. I call
Hmm.
it a results acceleration, a results accelerator.
Love it.
And so I'm not judging because if I'm understanding where they're at, and part of my system then, and I allude to a reciprocal collaboration. And again, I'm refining my systems even today. So
Yeah.
how my system goes is I put into Engage Pro in 3 day and with Calendly, they'll get a follow-up letter in 3 days that it's all about at that point, what does that reciprocal relationship looks like? And
Hmm.
if it's not going to go forward from that perspective, I'm not interested in having further conversations unless it's in a public meeting like this. When I'm in
Hmm.
the public, anybody can ask me any questions
Yeah.
one way or the other. Otherwise, but I'm refining my process. Now, as I say that, there are certain people that have developed a relationship. Like anytime Jason calls me, anytime Maury calls me, I'm
Yeah.
gonna pick up the phone right when you heard the phone ring as we were talking. Tim Taylor was calling. I've got a 35-year relationship with him. There are certain people I've
Yeah.
got relationships that will go beyond it
Always get
because
the
of,
call. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not always. I didn't take Tim's call and he's the CEO of a
Well,
company.
obligation is different, right? So
Yeah.
okay, so what I heard you say is that you have a way of during your discoveries of presenting to the other side the reciprocal nature of the relationship to get them to confirm that they're, on board for doing a mutually beneficial situation. Is that what I
In the
heard?
second date, the first date is 100%
Oh, the second date.
focused.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
it's
Okay.
100% focused on them.
Okay. Love that. Love that. Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Robert.
Sure. Anybody else have any questions?
Saw Maury's hand go up. There it is
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, so actually, I was going to ask how you tell. I mean, you already answered it because Talmar asked the same question. But here's the thing. I try to help people. I try to help myself. How do you deal with someone who you want to help? They want you to be helpful, but they don't follow through. Is there a way to
Um,
motivate people, or do you just kind of
no.
cut your losses and say thanks anyway?
I would call them on it. I say, I get the fact that because of the way you're sabotaging your success because you're no follow through. And I can give you a perfect example. And I'm not going to name names because some of you people know them, but I was on one of the networking events and the person that was speaking was talking about procrastination. And I so very, very slipped into the fact as I commented about procrastination and how sometimes people are not congruent with what they say and what they do because somebody had made a commitment with me. Well, that inspired that person to follow through on the commitment because I wanted her to introduce me to somebody else that she said she was going to do. So if somebody is not going to take the advice, and you and I know, in fact, many of the people here know, I'm not looking at who, but there's some people that show up that, anyhow, that's a whole other subject. I'm not going to wait. If somebody's a time vampire, don't waste your time with them. If they're not serious and committed, I'm not going to spend my time with them. Even if they're paying me,
So
first of all, I don't charge. Does that
So would
answer
the
your
best way to,
question?
sorry, Robert. So would the best, yeah, you
Yeah.
did, but just to kind of close it off. So the best way to deal with that might be in that first conversation where you have no strings. You end it with a string that says, here's some homework you have to do for the next time we talk.
Yes.
And that way you
Yeah.
see if they actually do the homework. If they don't, it's like sayonara.
That's correct. You test them.
Okay,
Everything's a
good.
test.
Thank you.
Hey, Suresh, nice seeing you again. We
Yeah,
just had a
hi,
one-on-one, all the way
exactly,
from
Robert.
all the way from Sweden.
Yes. Robert, a very interesting question. Like I shared with you earlier, but it is exactly on the same lines. I'm new to the online space, so I'm just curious. When you get into strategic partnership with joint ventures, it's very difficult to know until unless you have one or two transactions. So I'm curious to know how do you really meet, because now we are talking about clients or partners across the countries. So can you give me some hint or tips with your experience? How do you go across or with
Well,
international joint ventures? How is it working?
well, first of all, one of the key things I learned early on is listening to Wayne Dyer, know them in person. So I look at everything as a global marketplace today based on what happened in March of 2020. That being the case, um, it goes back to what I said earlier. Your test, are they congruent? Do they say what they are? are if what they say, are they going to do what they say they're going to do? If they're not, I'm not going to waste my time with them. So, if you're testing people and we've all got a screen of logic. You've got to see ultimately, will they do what they're going to say? Is it the right relationship? Different people have got different values, different standards. It depends upon what's going on in your world and is it the right fit? I mean, before I ended up meeting and marrying the lady that got married to, I probably dated, and I don't know exactly how many, over 100, because I had some clue of what I was looking for. Same thing in partnerships of any kind of business relationship. Is that answering your question?
Yeah, thank you so much, because it broadens the perspective. Because I was looking at first we try with two of them, and then once they fail, then go to the next. So it's taking too much of time. So
Yep.
John,
Yeah, thanks, Robert. One thing I wanted to ask you on that first visit, when you do a discovery call, whatever you want to call it, you have, it's a results accelerator is what you mentioned. And you want to just hear 100% from where the other person is coming from. I was curious to know if they understand, results accelerator, that if you led with your purpose also, you hear from them. Where does that come in about you matching up or aligning with whoever you're talking to, that you can support them, that you also, lead with your purpose about why you guys are in this call together?
Okay. It depends. Sometimes I might bring in my purpose, sometimes I won't. But if the whole focus is listening, asking questions, and giving them, be it resources, one way or the other, that will help them one way or the other. And then part of it's how you position yourself, meaning the fact that, because again, I know there's no question in my mind that I can help virtually anybody and everybody, not that I'm going to. So if I know that to be 100% the truth, then it's how I position myself and let them know, if you're going to get an email from me 3, 4 days later. And ultimately, if you want to focus on what a collaboration might look like, we can look at that the next time. I don't chase people. I don't follow up on people. I might put something in a chat, but I believe the cream will rise. I'm not going to, I'm at that stage right now in my life. I don't need anything anymore. I mean, I've got a very blessed life, so I'm not going to go out and chase people. So, do I talk about my purpose all the time? No. It depends if it's appropriate for the situation. Jason.
Robert, let's go. Amazing. We went a few minutes over with the extra questions, but I saw people had questions and I knew you had answers. So I really appreciate you, sir, for serving the group well. Y'all, round of applause for Robert. That was amazing. How do y'all feel? Like it's going to be a lot easier to win because you've spent a half hour with Robert Butwin, right? That's the feeling. So Robert's probably going to put some information in the chat for those of you who haven't connected with him one-on-one to get to know him a little bit. And this is the time, Robert, where I want you to wear my hat, right? And you got Maury's help as well. He's a great co-host with the microphone and stuff to hear from everybody in the room, to get to know everybody a little bit. So as a master networker, I would like you to kind of direct the conversation. I don't know if you want to hear from everybody for 60 seconds, 90 seconds, if you have certain questions you want answered. I like to create things unique so
Well,
they don't come in with that script that they practice in front of the mirror 30 times.
well, either that or you've got to be able to ad lib. And I think sometimes shorter is better, less is more. And so you should be able to explain to people in 3 words. 3 words, what it is, who you are, one way or the other. Most people, in my mind, throw up on other people. They need to learn to talk less, listen more, and be able to explain what they're doing in a shorter thing. If it's win, 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 and I'll give you one more acronym, and I could give you other ones, but the acronym for win is what's important now. And so as you're going to go into the breakout rooms before we introduce ourselves in 3 words, what I want you to think about is what's important now to make 2026 an amazing year for yourself.
All right. So, question for you. I don't know if we're introducing ourselves here or putting people in the breakout rooms. If you want the breakout rooms, let Agnes know how many people per room and how long you want them in there. But 3 words, I can talk fast. I could probably say 3 words in a second. So, I don't think we need a timer for that. Can everybody self-discipline and figure out their 3 words? Because I know there's going to be somebody in the group that says about 30 words and they meant to say three.
Exactly. It's a challenge, but there's challenges in life and challenges as an entrepreneur. So, and you mentioned about putting something in a chat. It was an podcast I was on with another elite networker. I'll put that in the chat so people can listen to it. So anyhow, Maury, do you want to call on the people however they want to do
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, I'll do that. And I'll give people an example. So everybody knows I'm a brainwave entrainment engineer, but that doesn't mean anything to anybody. So how about optimizing human consciousness?
Perfect. I
Three
love it.
words, right? Clear, says what I do, says what I'm about. Let me just get Jason's hand down there. We'll let you and Jason go last, by the way, just so you guys don't think you're off the hook here just because everybody else is going to go. So, Rob, can you unmute yourself and give us 3 words that describe what you do?
Yeah,
There you go.
business transformation success.
Beautiful. Talmar, unmute yourself, please, and tell us what you do in 3 words.
Teams free CEOs.
Great. Thank you. So far, I don't detect any nervous tension in any voices. I'm very impressed. Al Chan, please.
Think talent scout.
Oh, there you go. Nice. Roger.
History making connections.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. John Jew.
I'm going to use 4 words. I'm going to repeat this one: self-care, self-love.
Okay, well, you went 1 word over. We can cut you some slack. Joe. That's 4 words. That's okay. You and John will go in. There you go. Okay, Mark.
Your generational partner.
Great. Suresh.
Yeah, fitness transformations.
Excellent. Tim.
Puddles be gone.
That one was written for you in stone. I love it. Love it. Agnes, are you there? Can you give us 3 words that tell us what you do?
Keeping operations running.
Okay, I like that. Thank you. Stephen. I guess Stephen isn't. Oh, he is here. Go for it, Stephen.
Yeah, good day, sir. Thank you for the privilege. So, my main goal or focus is to help
Okay, so
expand,
Stephen, 3 words.
yeah, to expand your reach and gain more audience.
Okay,
Yeah.
expand your reach. Good. Or gain more audience. Either or. You give us 2 3s, which I'll let you get away with, just because you're a nice guy. And we'll let Robert go last. So, Jason, 3 words that says what you do.
Creating exponential success.
Love it. Robert, bring us home.
Sure. Results accelerator strategist.
Beautiful. And by the way, with AI, none of us have an excuse for not being able to come up with a 3 worder in a few seconds. So don't forget the tools you have available to you. So, guys, what do you want to do? Do you want to, Robert, you want to give them a question and we'll put everyone into maybe
Yeah.
3 groups of 3?
Well, yeah, the question is, the acronym of WIN, what's important now to make 2026 an amazing year for yourself?
Okay, that's
What's
beautiful.
important now?
Agnes, have you made rooms?
How
I'm
many
sorry.
minutes would you like in the rooms, Mr. Robert? You want to go 15 minutes?
Sure.
So while Agnes creates those rooms, I just want to let everybody know for the new faces, welcome to the No More 9 to 5 Club. Robert's been a staple in the club for years. He knows the mission and knows it well, as you can see from his wisdom and authority. This club is going places. Every single one of you are here for a reason. You guys decided to spend your Saturday with us, or Sunday if you're like Al Chan or any of our folks in New Zealand or Australia, um, to not only better yourself, but to better the world around you. And Robert, it's okay with you. I'm going to take a lesson out of your playbook and talk about the path that
Yeah.
these people can get to
Yeah.
know us
As
a
you're
little
doing
bit deeper.
that, Jason, as you're doing that, if you haven't met Roger, he's been in the Air Force because I know that a lot of the No More 9 to 5 Club is for vets. So I want
Yes.
to at least make you aware of that.
Roger and I have had the pleasure of meeting on more than one club meeting at this
Got
point,
it.
so I
Okay.
really appreciate him being here. And for everybody else who hasn't had a chance to get to know us, if you go to the no more 9 to 5club.org, there's a start here. It's completely free. It's a customized roadmap to success survey. Our AI will take your answers and give you a blueprint of how we can be most valuable to you. So from our events to our courses, we offer tons of free value, so much so that we wanted you to question what would happen if you actually paid us. Mind Trainer Pro is also another part of the ecosystem. I know Maury didn't talk about it, but we believe that if you use your brain, you can achieve. So that is my unapologetic pitch that I had to make up real quick to give Agnes time to create those breakout rooms. So, Agnes, are we good to go or should I keep yapping about something?
You're good to go, sir.
Let's do it, y'all. 15 minutes. We'll be back for Robert's next set of instructions and a little mix up. Let's go. Rob Warrett, nice to meet you.
Hi, Jason.
Joe Rebus, we've met before. How are you, sir? I went with the first name and the last name. Excellent. So, Joe, since Rob's new to the club, why don't we let him go first and kick it off?
What's important to make 26 a good year is that I know particularly what I'm looking for. I'm looking for some key referral partners in business. And I've got my eyes on some very specific slots for that and who they are. Given my age, I'm 73, so I'm not actually looking to be going up a full tilt at anything. I've got other things to do in my life, but I do know what I'm looking for, and so specifically because the pain I solve is identifiable, but the people I solve it for, who are SME owners, don't know where to find it. I need to find that key connector who has a lot of those particular types of clients in their network for whatever reason. Maybe they deal with them operationally. And then from there, I get enough leads, enough work coming my way that makes it sensible.
Rob, let me ask you, what problem do you solve for these folks?
So typically you've got a business which has been established a few years, it's got a dozen, maybe more people working for it, but typically with a couple of founders, maybe one man. They're expert at what they do, but they hit a ceiling, they hit a plateau. Because as you think about it, and I'm going to use a construction example, the guys who are on the construction site who do the groundworks, they're great at digging holes, they're great at doing drainage, they do all that kind of stuff. What do they know about business management and structure and organizational structure? Zilch. And they can't expand because they get to a certain size and they can deal with the clients, but then they're firefighting. So their problems are, we've hit a plateau, we're constantly firefighting, we can't seem to scale. All of those are things that they will talk about to their mates, their friends, their associates, whatever, but they don't know where to find the help.
And I'm curious, Robert, and if Joe, if you have questions too, feel free. Um, the ideal partner, you said you've identified them. Can you give us a few examples?
A contracts manager for a large corporate who is dealing with subcontractors, because they will know amongst their pool of subcontractors the ones who potentially are struggling. That would be in the construction industry, for example. Main contractor, because obviously on site you've got a main contractor, but then you've got subs who are the electricians, brickies, whatever, carpet, the whole works. It could be a different industry, but there's nevertheless that choke point.
Are you mostly focused on service-based businesses like HVAC, electrician, or is there other avatars too?
It doesn't matter. I've got such a broad background. I've worked in the military. I was an officer, and I've done all sorts. I've worked in hospitality. I've worked in retail. I've worked in healthcare. I've worked in government, financial services. You name it, I've been there virtually. So it doesn't matter. I'm agnostic. Yeah. We're not particularly legal, but and don't forget, I'm UK based. Well, healthcare and taxation are not linked in this country. Healthcare is.
Maybe. All right, Rob. Well, I'm super happy you're here. I can definitely keep my eyes peeled, my ears peeled. I can't think of any contract managers. I know we do have some blue collar types. I have friends that own AC companies and stuff here in the States. So I'm super happy you made it to join us today. And I look forward to getting to know you more and hopefully being able to connect you or help you further your goals somehow, some way. So for the sake of fairness and equality, I realize we've got about exactly 10 minutes left. So we'll let Joe get this second third, if that's okay. Rob, you have any questions for Joe? Like he says, I'm aware.
I'm not entirely clear, Yue, what it is you actually do. Are you saying that you will take a business who is struggling to get visibility and work on their digital aspects of their business? Is that what you're saying? Okay. And what problem does that specifically solve? Okay.
Joe Perez. Notice how I didn't say Rivas. um, did that give you some clarity, Rob?
Yeah. And I know people here in the UK who do something similar.
There is a lot of us. So I'm going to actually talk about me, I guess, because Joe and I share some similarities. I too have a team of offshore virtual assistants that I leverage to help the No More 9 to 5 Club members achieve their goals when it comes to digital marketing. But my scope is a little bit more broad. That's not my main focus. My main focus with the No More 9 to 5 Club was to teach people financial literacy, to teach people how to think, to teach people how to take care of themselves and align their actions with their goals so I can create more success and winners in this world. I believe that if all of our cups are full, we're going to create a better scenario where we could actually start to think about others and the world around us. I grew up struggle. I grew up in a struggle. I was born in the Caribbean and grew up poor in South Florida. I'm ex-military too. I was a prison guard in Guantanamo Bay and assisted with CIA interrogations. Worked for the state of Florida, also government, with the Department of Economic Opportunity, helping disabled veterans overcome barriers to employment. And I wanted more. So I got into sales. I learned how to be a trusted advisor. And after 7 years, I retired and bought a bunch of houses. Went back to school and got my MBA. Started the No More 9 to 5 Club to teach people financial literacy. And then it expanded from there. So I try to be a more well-rounded community and club. I care about the quality of people within this organization that we're here to serve and help other people do better. Our three core pillars are wealth, well-being, and wisdom. I don't believe anybody should start off on the entrepreneurial journey unless they've mastered themselves first, because most entrepreneurs fail. And if they do want to step into the world of entrepreneurship, they should think twice before they start walking. I'm not saying they shouldn't start walking. They should just think about it to make sure that they've got a measure of success planned. We have a Go High Level agency. We have cloud-based AI LinkedIn lead generation. We have N8N systems that can create content. We're currently expanding everything. And we've wrapped it into one super affordable and shareable membership called the Pro membership. It's $97 a month. And we have a two-tier 33% affiliate structure. So when I built this, I built it because I saw a lot of problems when I started spending more time on social media, bad advice, bad MLMs, bad companies, all types of things. And I figured I can create a free community where people could get free value and decide whether or not they wanted to upgrade. And if they did want to upgrade and share it, they don't have to pester or sell to their friends and families. They can just invite people for free. And it's up to them if they like what we're doing and they care about wealth, well-being, and wisdom and see the value in our tech stack that most people can't get for cheaper on their own. I don't think anybody can actually, because I've white labeled so much stuff and included in that $97 a month. So long story short, we're a place for dreamers to dream and do, but also for seasoned business owners. My team works best when there's a clear direction. VAs internationally shouldn't be giving people marketing advice or how to run their business, and I don't sell my time. I don't want to be anybody's consultant. I'd rather have the team that can get stuff done for people who know what they're doing. And for everybody else, we create this playground of masterminds and ecosystems where they can figure out what their best next step is. So hopefully that explains a lot. I love sharing my virtual stage with other leaders that can drop nuggets of wisdom like Robert Butwin and you guys as well. So anybody that can come in here and shine in their brilliance is more than welcome to join the movement of the No More 9 to 5 Club, which is very simply trying to teach good people how to do better. Hopefully I was succinct enough to explain all of that. Rob, do you have any questions on that? Yap, 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 yap.
No, I don't particularly have questions. I understand what it is you're doing, and so on. And it's I've been a member of a number of different networks in different places. I mean, I'm say at an end of my life where I do what I want to do and to a level I want to do it. And I've earned major money over the years. And I can tell you, I've delivered in sterling terms over £5 billion of value to customers and clients over my last 25 years.
Excellent.
Serious amounts of money.
That's a lot of pounds. I wouldn't want to lift that, even though the goal is more than just financial freedom. It's time freedom. And that's what I'm trying to help the 9 to 5ers achieve. I want people to really think about that. But for the business owners, Rob, the business owners need help. Like you said, or they can throw up a roof or they can throw up electrical panels or put in an irrigation system, but they don't know crap about websites. That's why they need people like Joe. They don't know crap about how to onboard and scale and train customers and customer service, which is where Rob comes in. So, um, it sounds like you could be a good fit to the No More 9 to 5 Club. I'd be more than happy to share any of the resources, get to know you a little bit better, and continue to invite you back to the community and see what we can do to help you create a bigger positive ripple in the world.
Okay. So kind of, it's well, no, I didn't get
It's a
well,
free pitch.
it might have been a pitch, it might have been a pretty, but there isn't a but. I'm aware of these kind of things, and what I'm trying to do is see how this dovetails with what I've got. So I've got a very clear one thing that's very obvious. What I'm very good at what I do. I'm world class at what I do. I've been told I'm world class at what I do by a main board director of a FTSE 100 company. So that's one of the UK's top 100 companies. I did a turnaround program for their business, and he was gobsmacked. So I know I'm good, and the question is, where do I apply that good?
Well, I would encourage you to get with me when we have more than 60 seconds so we can talk about it.
Mhm.
But part of the reasons I built these ecosystems with automations, like just the N8N LinkedIn lead generation, if you don't have to spend time trying to connect with people and you can just get the yeses and talk to the
Mhm.
people who are interested in connecting, that's a huge time saver right there. So I'm all about doing things efficiently,
Yeah.
working smarter, not harder, or as we called it in the US military, skating through life, making it look good. So
Recording in progress.
hey, hey. Are we back, y'all?
Hmm.
Everybody's here. Robert Butwin, how'd that go? You ready to tell Agnes to mix it up twice? Maybe you want to have a few minutes in between for testimonials of success?
Yeah, plus a different direction for next time.
Okay, so we're going to mix it up twice and get a different direction. Robert, do you want to see how the rooms went the first iteration before we give the new direction?
Sure. If anybody gained some insight or would like to comment one way or the other based on how the room was, just raise your digital hand. Hopefully, everybody at this stage should know where your digital hand is. If you don't, it's in the bottom under React schedule. It says discussion. Joe. Morris.
Yeah, I was just muting Jeff because he came on with a bunch of noise. So I was in a room with Kurt, who seems to have vaporized, and Talmar. And Talmar does some pretty interesting trainings. And it's about teams and getting them to be more efficient and more effective and that kind of thing. And she actually inspired me. So we will be having a discussion, my team and I, or one of my teams and I, about getting motivated and getting moving and actually doing something, as opposed to what is happening now, which isn't much from a few of the people. There are people who are doing exceptional work, and they will know before the conversation that they are, so I'm not talking about them. But the other people will, the polite Canadian will very politely express that, you don't get to be an owner with just by sitting around. So there you go. Talmar inspired me.
Well,
Thank you, Tal.
and let me
By the
make
way,
a comment. Yeah,
sorry.
let me make a comment before we go into the next direction. You know, Telemar's amazing. Quite often how you show up. And even if you've got a minute and you go over, you don't want to. I mean, how we show up. The instructions that the host lay out, you want to make sure because people are judging on the little things. As hard as it is true. And Telmar always shows up, whenever she has the opportunity to share some great wisdom. So with that, as we're going into the next, because part of what you're focusing on, but the other part of it is the other side of the equation. What do you need to release to accomplish what you're looking to accomplish next year? Because if you are going to go on a vacation and you're taking too much baggage, or you're going on a journey and you're carrying around too much baggage, whatever that is, it's going to slow you down. So think about what you want to release as it relates to going on your success journey as an entrepreneur. So that's what you want to focus on in the next breakout room. What you should be releasing. Quite often it's the 6 inches between your ears, whatever that might be. But changing your mindset. My listening to Wayne Dyer back in the day and understanding the limits that existed, I had created those limits. So what do you want to release so that you can create and have a positive impact that you want to have in 2026? So with that, we can go into the next breakout room.
Let's do it. All right, Agnes, make sure you've hit that mix it up button at least twice. And let's go. 15 more minutes, y'all 3-person to a room. So release what is no longer serving you. I am so with that, Robert.
Let's go.
So good to see you, man. Kamar, good to see you.
Hello, gentlemen.
I know.
Until today.
Same here. Yes. Good to meet you.
Happy New Year, y'all. This is great. I'm fairly new, so I was going to let somebody else go first.
Yeah, welcome. Welcome.
Okay. All right. That's fine. It's funny because I was like, I feel like last year I was really working on like paring things down. We let go of so much stuff. We were just doing too many things, right? And some were not working well, some were working okay, but took so much energy, right? And then there was a lot of personal shifting that I did. And for me, I released the need to constantly do, which is different, right? Like, so in my company, I work with business owners on how to hire teams and how to manage teams, how to do boss best practices. That's the word we use. And so I'm really working with people with the knowledge base and even the mindset. But for me, there's always a push to do. I could do better. I could do more. And because I had the capacity, I felt like I should, and I was shoulding all over myself. So that's the one thing I really want to make sure I step away from. I'm going to stop shoulding on myself.
That's good. That's really good. I love that.
Thanks, everybody.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll go. Thank you. Yeah, what releasing? What do I need to do to, just get better at what I am doing, and what do I need to release? Very similar to shooting all over myself.
You got to
And
say
what?
it very specifically.
Yes, you got to enunciate.
Shoulding enunciate. Yes.
And so, what I do, and Joe knows too, but this is just an update because I'm always becoming. I'm becoming who I am
I love that.
consistently till the end of till I exit this planet. So
Amen.
this is where I'm at right now with this is I'm addressing the two biggest problems we have in our communities today, as well as on our globe, and it's the two problems that I see that most people will agree: generational poor health, generational poverty. Those
Mm.
two biggest issues, I think, are pervasive. And it's because we don't treat our systems are broken and we don't treat the root cause of who we are as people, who we are as systems, is how we address those. And that's where we go wrong. And that's what needs to be done here, as I have solutions. I have solutions to solve those two big problems in such a way that I have direction for that. And it's requiring other people. And when I get stuck, when I don't know what I'm going to do next, because I have such alignment with my assignment, very solid on that. My spiritual being has grown so much that I am getting more definition, more clarity on what I need to do. And with that in mind is that I need to, when I look for answers, when I look at, who can help me, because I know I can't do this alone. That's obvious for all of us as entrepreneurs, is if we want to be solopreneurs, fine. You want to get burned out, that's fine. So,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want to do there, what I have learned is that if I'm looking for answers and not knowing where to go, I will release the fact that I have everything within me. That is, and not with others. And then that will give me a gateway to looking for others who are in alignment with what I've got, and
Mm.
knowing that that's the answer. So the
Mm.
answer is look within first. And I have to release going these shiny bright objects that I chase, these shiny bright people that I chase that look so good, is use my intuitive powers to know that.
I like it.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like that a lot. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Is that a
That's
fresh
awesome.
haircut, Joe? What's the deal there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 Mm. That's a good one. Mm-hmm. Mm. I love it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love that. I think that was me last year was letting go of the past, right? Like there's so much that I would lean into for safety with the concept of if I can base it on what my past experiences are, then I can predict what can be my solution, my result, whatever. And it's the most limiting thing you can do, right? Because if you only want to live in experiences that you've had in the past, then where's the opportunity for all the bigness and goodness that's still out there, right? So that was a really big one for me. I completely resonate with everything that you said. Definitely, Joe.
Yeah, I do too. And what you're saying, Talmar, is so true too. And Joe, what you're saying too is present time, being able to live in the present time. And what I've done is I've really gotten it down to everything, summarizing who I am in 13 words and living by it mantra every single day is in this order. It's God, serve others. May all beings be loving, joyful, and blessed.
Lovely.
That's all part of it. When- Yep.
I love it. I love it.
That's
Hmm.
it- so good, Joe. So good. And
I love it.
what you're saying is I love to, put my little 13 word mantra to the test. And what you're saying is so spot on as far as God and serving God. And serving God is self-care and self-love. And if you can
Mm,
forgive yourself and live in the present time, because we're all here not for the destination, we're all here to enjoy the journey. That is a
amen.
God-given blessing that he has given us is to enjoy the journey. It's not where we're going to end up. And if we can do that with others in such a way that they also can enjoy the journey as we share what we have to support them and to support and connect and collaborate with others with our alignment, you know, my whole thing too is having the alignment with my assignment and then finding
Mm,
others who are on that same path.
yeah. 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 Mm, mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Yeah. I would argue that time is a mental thing. It is not a real. I was like, if we're gonna go deep, I'm like, time. It's a yeah, no, yeah, I know. It's the construct that makes us feel good,
What,
right? Mhm. For sure. Yeah, yeah. Hmm. Yep. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
it's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah,
I love
yeah, it
that.
is.
And
Facts. Yep.
and
That's such
and,
good
and
conversation.
living in the present is a practice, absolutely for sure. And
Sincerely.
what I've done for that, as I learn more about who I am, as I can reach deeply into that, is as simple as I remember to breathe. Yeah,
Yeah. Seriously.
yeah. And that's the best way to live in the present time. And then to enjoy not only the breath, but also the stillness and reaching your intuitive self in the spirit within you, the energy within you is in the stillness, and you can get rid of all that noise just by breathing and by
Yeah.
being aware of that. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. Love it. Yeah,
Some great
facts.
lifestyle habits you got there, Joe. Absolutely.
Definitely not. Nobody don't you dare apologize for that. Please. That is such a interesting thing. Well, and it's interesting because AI has really created, I think, some chaos, but I also think there's an opportunity. It'll just be interesting to see how it comes about. And that opportunity is, will society embrace critical thinking again, or will it just go further down the rabbit hole of, oh, well, I would challenge that there's been a few things that people have just followed a rabbit hole instead of thought for them. Yeah, yeah, yes. I just Yeah, yeah. Society can really step into the world of saying AI is a great tool, and now I have to apply critical thinking to understand what parts are true to me. Yeah, yeah. And it's still just a resource. It's,
It is.
garbage in, garbage out. So you've got to just,
Joe,
yep.
Joe, I got your connection. I'm going to hook up with you because I got a big question for you. I want you to build out, I want to know if you can build out the most all-time fundraising system platform. Uh,
Ooh. Oh,
I've got that as one of my solutions. So
that's
I got to come.
exciting.
All right.
Recording in progress.
Hello, everybody. So
Welcome back.
I was waiting for Jason to pop up, but he's up, so he can go. Go for it, Jason.
I'm here. I really wanted to know if it was like Kurt's uncle Jorg or what. So Kurt, Roger, y'all are gonna have to connect on that. See if we know each other. You're only one person away from being introduced to somebody, but you might also be one person away from reconnecting with somebody you already know. Amazing when people get together and like, we haven't met, but we know common people together. I can't tell you how many times that happens with Robert Butwin. I'm meeting a master networker and I'm like, have you met Robert Butwin? I'd love to connect you with him. And they're like, absolutely. I know Robert. We go way back. I'm like, dang it. I thought I was going to have an introduction for Robert. Um, anyways, that was amazing. Thank you, gentlemen. Robert Butwin, over to you, sir. What'd you think?
Well, I'm going to comment on what you just said. Back when I started my journey as an entrepreneur, which was 1984, and it took me 6 years to break through. Now, part of the reason why is I created a lot of debt, and I realized everything that the journey that we all take is there to serve us. But what you were just saying, when I started back in 1984, they talked about the 6 degrees of separation to show you the changes that have happened. I think today it's 1 degree of separation. One person, maximum of two. But it's such a smaller world that we live in for a variety of different reasons. So again, it's showing up, talking to people in the right way. If the things that you're doing aren't working, you can either ask, go deep within or ask AI, what could you be doing that you're not doing that will allow you to create better results? I see John Jules got his hand up.
Robert, thank you for expounding on your expertise, and that's connection and collaboration. You just said it very succinctly and very much relevant. 6 degrees, now it's 1 or 2 degrees. It's and that I think it's the energy that we have in this universe now. I was with Joe and Talmar, and I just felt the energy level was just fabulous as far as how we connect as human beings and updating ourselves and reinventing ourselves and who we're becoming. And that just came out in present time with Talmar and Joe. I just want to thank them for that too.
Very good, John
You
Jew.
know, let me throw out one more thing. You're hearing from many people here the value that you're getting or receiving, not that you're receiving. Here's the question, and I see different people here that I've invited, but why aren't there more people here? What could we be doing to increase the numbers here? Doesn't matter who's speaking, but if you're getting value, and part of when I try to refer people is because I know that they're going to give value. So what can we do that will allow this room to, go to the next level? Go ahead, Telmar.
Are you saying this theoretically or do you want direct feedback? This is my first time here, so.
Either or, doesn't matter. It's
Okay.
totally up
Okay.
to you.
So I will tell you, it literally is by chance that I was available and on this call. I've been trying to understand the No More 9 to 5 community, and I don't mean that in a bad way. There's lots going on, and I'm just trying to, like, is it a platform? Where is it? And I'm learning from Alyssa and Jason. I started showing up to these events to understand it. So one, I feel like for me, I'm still learning what the is it a community? Is it an event space? Understanding just specifically No More 9 to 5. And then the second piece was that like I need reminders. It needs to be on my calendar. It needs to be scheduled for it to even in my personal life. Let me be clear. Like my son and my husband have to schedule time, right? Like that's just how my brain works. And I think when you're in a room full of so many people here, while we create businesses that give us space, we still need a schedule to move on. So I will tell you, I didn't know you guys had Saturday events. So that's one. I wasn't looking for it. I happened to be responding to something somebody reached out to me for when I saw the email come across with Robert's name, and I was like, oh, I actually can go to this, and oh, I get actually support, and oh, it's 9 to 5. Oh, boom, all at once. I was like, let's make this happen. So it wasn't a plan; it was a happenstance for me. But that's just how I was able to be here, which I'm thrilled I was. What a great room! What amazing time! Very, very valuable. But I just wanted to give the feedback.
Thank you. Jason, I see your hands up.
I love that, Robert. So I've got some ideas. First, I want to respond. I put a few links in the chat. One of them is a calendar download, and that will copy the entire club's calendar to your calendar and put it in a different color so it doesn't confuse you and so you never miss an event. We also have these on the events page. When you sign up for an individual event, you can just get one reoccurring event on your calendar as well if you don't want the full calendar. So I'm constantly looking to optimize the digital pathway. But to really understand the No More 9 to 5 Club, you could always ask me, get on a one-on-one.
And
But I wanted to create a pathway that people can get a custom path without my involvement so we can truly scale.
I love it.
And the website has a bunch of information, events pages, services, memberships, but it also has a customized roadmap to success survey, which means you only got to answer like 8 questions. And then it takes all the knowledge from the AI database and gives you a custom blueprint of where we can collaborate or be helpful. Does that make sense?
Super, super. And the only other, again, this is just big feedback because I was given the opportunity. The word when I looked up No More 9 to 5, which is how you all refer to this, It did not take me to you. It took me to some dead page. Club is not set enough for me to know that that's what I should have been looking for. So now that I see that as your domain, it will help me better understand how to find you in the information. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's just
Absolutely.
my experiences. I don't have a lot of experience with the community yet.
Absolutely. One more thing is I put in the Mind Trainer Pro link as well. That is definitely a part of the No More 9 to 5 Club ecosystem. I always say we have a triad. We have the club, the nonprofit foundation, and the brain entrainment, because we want everybody in the No More 9 to 5 Club to know how to use their brains. And this is highly shareable. We made it, we were talking about Netflix in the breakout rooms and how so many people subscribe to it. It's publicly traded and we're about the same price. The difference is we're good for the brain and they're just entertaining the brain. So I want people who want good for the brain and they're willing to spend that $15 a month. But to expand on Robert's point, we also have affiliate links. And I'm going to be revamping all of these, every single pathway. So everything you're seeing on the events page, I'm going through page after page after page and making sure it's presenting as if I was actually writing it and saying it all myself, because I realized other people had parts in it and it wasn't passing my test of I would say yes to this. So I'm going to fix that. So it's easier to share the No More 9 to 5 Club. I don't need anybody to pitch anybody on the club. It's literally a very soft invite. You want to join the No More 9 to 5 Club? It felt really good when I called my friend who was already retired and I said, I'm done. I put in my notice, I'm not working anymore. And he said, welcome to the club. And I want to give other people that same experience.
I see Roger's got his hand up.
Yes, I've got a question for Jason and probably Maury. My mentee, and yeah, I do have a mentee. His book got published yesterday, and I'm just excited reading it. And I want to invite him to the No More 9 to 5 Club. What do I send him? That's the first question. The second question is, I got on the Maury's site, the Brain Trainer. Geez, man, I must never been using my brain because that thing blew me away. Now, he does offer some benefits for veterans, which I am. And I don't know how to use the benefits for the veterans, but I do want to get my brain properly trained.
Okay, so I'll let Jason answer the no more 9 to 5 question, but I suggest or suspect that what you want to do is you want to sign up as at least as a free member for no more 9 to 5. And then as a free member, you'll get the ability to refer people so that if you refer someone and they end up buying, say, the top tier membership, you'll actually get a commission off of that. I think they pay 33%. To the referrer. So that's a way for you to make a little supplemental income. As far as the brain entrainment stuff is concerned, the best thing to do is use the link Jason put in for Mind Trainer Pro. Click there and then get yourself the app. Like sign up for the freebie. You'll see if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see get your free cup of digital coffee. Just click on that and then go to the either Apple Store if you have an iPhone or an Android phone, go to the Play Store and download the app. All the instructions on how to use everything are there. Now, when it comes down to Common Clarity, that's the system that we offer for hopefully people who are suffering with PTSD, like symptomology, that kind of thing. So all you have to do is from the web page, the main page, there's a contact us. Just leave us a question saying, hey, I'm a vet and I'd like your access to Common Clarity, please. And we'll get back to you with a special code that what you do is you'll go back to Common Clarity, you'll buy it. So you'll put in your credit card or PayPal or whatever information, but then you'll put in the code and you'll refresh you'll hit like click here to apply the code and you'll get zeroed out. It'll cost you nothing. And you'll get lifetime access through the app. Plus, you get digital coffee and the Happy Vi. That is a video technology that we developed that in 3 minutes or less will put you into a happy, smiling mood. And if a vet couldn't use a tool like that, that in 3 minutes will change the mood from something to something, then I don't know what else I can say. So if you need any additional help, you can always reach out to me or Jason. We're both here for you.
Everything Maury said is true, and I'm going to add a second pathway to get that free stuff. Thank you again for your service, sir. We have an official 501c3 called the No More 9 to 5 Foundation. You can fill out any of the forms on that. I've already vetted you. You can skip the appointment. I'll just tell my team to make it happen. And for the affiliate, it's called the No More 9 to 5 Club.org/affiliate. And I put that link in the chat too. So you can just click, enter your name, email address, and phone number, pick which things you want to promote. And when you get into the affiliate back office, you're going to see that there's more than what's even on this form. So the entire No More 9 to 5 Club is one giant lead magnet because we wanted to give away tons of free value to make somebody ask, what the heck would happen if we actually paid this guy? So anyways, let's keep rocking and rolling, y'all. Great questions, Roger. All right, Robert, Butwin, I think we got to get final words from you. I don't know if you put your links in the chat. I don't see any other hands up. And we've done 2 rounds of networking, so I feel like we can call today a success if you are ready to put the bows and whistles on this thing.
Sure. And let me put something in the chat first, and I'll explain why. Um, you know, and for those of you that heard my presentation, and I really believe it to be the case, that it's easier to become wealthy today than any other time in history. And a lot of that's based on your strategies. You know, I know I was in one of the first breakout room with Mark and um, gosh, I can't even remember who the other person is, but we're talking
Tim.
about, oh, I know, it was Tim. And we're talking about digitizing his messaging. And, he was talking about he wanted to do something. He says, but then I got to give him a free gift. I says, you can go to AI and create a free thing about how to make your pets bigger. A lot of it goes back to your strategies. You know, there's affiliate commissions. And for example, I promote the No More 9 to 5, and I tell Jason, I don't want the money because I don't need the money. There's certain things, the relationship currency for me is more important than cash. So, the point is, it's understanding your strategies. It's like when I had a one-on-one with Roger, I had a whole list of different networking events that I gave him, and I said, these are where I show up. The events that I show up religiously, basically. And then here's some other good events, but I don't show up. But again, it's going back to your strategy. Part of it, even when it comes to having people refer me, the first link was a podcast that I did, just a lot of great insights. There's no call to action. The second one is a link that people can give, which basically talks about me mentoring. But again, everything's your mindset and your strategy and your commitment to yourself. So, and it goes back to when I started my journey. You've got to have the intention that you're going to be successful. There's an old saying, when the teacher is ready, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So it's just knowing that if you consistently show up and using the right action with the right mindset, that you're destined for success. So I guess that's as far as what, how to, end it, just knowing that you're showing up and that you will succeed.
Keep showing up. Failure is what happens when you quit. If you got value from today, tell people about it. Don't keep it a secret. You can tag Robert Butwin on Facebook, LinkedIn, tons of social media platforms. You can also tag the No More 9 to 5 Club. It's okay to celebrate wins. If people on your timelines aren't celebrating it, then you may need a new social circle. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Let's keep winning and raising the vibration. Have a great day, y'all.
Like,
Great, great, great.